The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
I'm driving home last night, and a boy that I'm very close to calls me and he says, "Rabbi, I have to tell you this story." I said, "What happened?" Now, this he's a community kid, wonderful kid. I've been close to him for years. But he's had like ups and downs in life. He's been involved in things and rough friends and rough stuff, and I don't know every detail, but not the greatest at all. And you'd call him a rough kid, had rough moments, maybe rough years, maybe a few rough years, I don't know what. He says, "Rabbi, this morning I was driving into the city." I never drive into the city. The past 6-7 months, I haven't driven into the city once. I'm driving into the city with a friend or a cousin, and I'm in the car, and it's somewhere on like 7th and 38th, something like that, and I'm driving without a seatbelt. And I see a cop right there, and I see him looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me, and I know I'm done for. Sure enough, lights go on, he pulls me aside, he's got a lineup of like 3 cars, and I'm standing there, and he says to me, he says, "You know what?" He says, "A year ago, if this would have happened to me, I know exactly what my reaction would have been. Cursing galore. I would have been banging the dashboard, yelling about these lousy, loser, horrible cops and every other word that there is to say in between. I would have frustrated and mad and like losing it right there. I don't believe I'm going to get a ticket, how much it's going to cost, I'm going to have points, what's it going to do. I would have been losing my mind." He says, "But I've been reading like Garden of Emunah and things like that, and going to classes, and all these beautiful things." He says, "So I sat there and I said, thank you, Hashem, for pulling me over. Thank you, this cop is obviously Hashem's messenger. It's a beautiful thing. Hashem wants me to learn something. This is wonderful." He said, "The guy sitting with me in the car said, 'Have you lost your mind?' What do you think?" He said, No, this is a wonderful, beautiful thing. Hashem's pulling me over. Hashem wants to send me a message. I'm going to learn something from this. This is a wonderfully beautiful thing." The cop comes to the door, asks him for a license, registration, goes back to his car, and sits in his car. And sometimes like they take forever. It's like they want to watch a movie in between while they're giving you a ticket. So a half hour. He says, for a half hour I'm in the car, and this other person's with me saying, "What are you doing?" I said, "No, this is from Hashem. If I get a ticket, if I don't get a ticket, it's all fine. I accept it 100% happily. I'm totally good. I'm totally okay. This is what Hashem wants, and I am happy with this." He says, until I got even the other guy in the car to start to buy in, like, wow, okay, let's all be crazy together. And he says, and then after a half hour, the cop comes to the window. He says, the cop says, "I never saw this before in my life." He says, "What is it?" I'm going to change the kid's name, okay? He says, "Your name is Freddie, and my name is Freddie. And you are born on 10/12/1992. And I am born on 10/12/1992. He says, "There's no way I'm giving a ticket to a guy with the same name on the same..." He says, "So I technically had to write out a ticket. I messed up everything. I wrote your name wrong. I wrote the day wrong, the registration. Everything's a mess. It's going to wipe out in 1 second." And the kid turns to his friend. He says, "I was really good either way. But that mindset is scary. And that mindset is so much better and so beautiful." The kid literally made a voice note on his phone, sent it to his parents. His parents forwarded it to the rest of the family. And then his mother forwarded it to like one of her friends. And she's like the first one always to respond. Some people, they're in a second, they're back. An hour later, the friend responds and calls up. She says, "I listened to your son's voice note while I was sitting on the side of the road in a car accident. And I was like losing my mind, and I hear this voice note. And I was like, wow, what a frame of mind to be in. And I wanted to imitate that. And that's really what I am telling you. that you're going to get these little mental fender benders every minute of your day. It'll happen in an hour. It'll happen in 3 hours after that. Something will happen, something will go wrong, something will go right, something will get you frustrated, something will get you up, and something will get you down. A person with faith has a healthy frame of mind. And a person with faith has that focus and has that mindfulness and understanding and appreciation of what we are and who's doing it. And it's all from Borei Olam. That mindset can uplift you and get you out of that mental maze that this world feels like.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org